Welcome friends. Today's topic is first law of thermodynamics. The first law of thermodynamics is also known as conservation of energy principle. It states that during any process, if the energy disappears in one form, it appears in another form, but its total quantity remains always constant. That is, the energy can be neither created nor destroyed. It can only change its form. For example, for the energy interaction between a system and its surroundings, the energy lost by a system must be exactly equal to the amount of energy gained by the surroundings. The first law can be proved mathematically, but no process in nature is known to have violated the first law of thermodynamics. It is the relation of energy balance and is applicable to any kind of system, open or closed, undergoing any kind of process. Okay. Then we talk about the examples of energy balance. Okay. Let us consider process that involve only heat transfer but no work interaction. A hot potato taken from an oven is exposed to room air. See the diagram. As a result of heat transfer from the hot potato, its energy will decrease in the absence of other effects. The decrease of total energy of the potato becomes equal to the amount of heat transfer to the surroundings. Therefore, the principle of conservation of energy can be expressed as minus delta E, which is equal to minus Q. Minus Q means the heat is rejected from the hot potato, and minus delta E means the change of internal energy is also going to reduced. There is no gain. The energy lost from the potato to atmosphere. Okay. Therefore both the sign conventions are negative. Therefore minus delta E equal to minus Q. Here delta E is equal to E2 minus E1. Here E1 is initial energy, E2 is final energy. That means E1 is potato at 100 degrees Celsius, E2 is potato at 30 degrees Celsius. Okay. Therefore here E1 is greater than E2. Therefore that delta is gives a negative sign, which is the implication of first equation. Minus delta E is equal to minus Q. Okay. By the definition, in the absence of any work interaction, here there is no work interaction, only heat is interacted from the potato to surroundings. Okay. Therefore work interaction is equal to 0. Work interaction means there is no mechanical movement, okay, between the system and its surroundings. The amount of net heat transfer is equal to the change in internal energy. That means delta E equal to Q when W equal to 0. This is one example of energy balance, or one form of first law of thermodynamics. Then see the second example. Now we consider a well insulated room heated by an electric heater. Okay, electrical energy is also one type of mechanical work interaction. Okay, as a result of electrical work done, the energy of the room will increase. Since the room is adiabatic and cannot have any heat interaction with its surroundings, the conservation of energy principle dictates that electrical work done on the room must be equal to increase in energy of the room. Okay. Another example is if you use the electric heater to heat the water, we supply the electrical work done to the water is heating. The water is in the insulated place, therefore there is no heat is escape from the water to atmosphere. Therefore this because of the insulated condition. Okay, here therefore there is no heat transfer, but given work transfer is fully converted to internal energy of that particular object. Okay, therefore minus W, here we supply the energy. Therefore based on this sign convention, work input is negative sign. Here internal energy is gained from initial state to final state, because initially before the given of the work or electrical supply, there is no heat is supplied to the room, and after the certain time of energy flow, electrical flow, the room is heated. Okay, therefore the total energy of the room is increased. Therefore here E2 is a higher one, E1 is the lower one. Therefore E2 minus E1 is positive, but work done is equal to work done is the input of the room. Therefore work done have a negative sign. Therefore the process is called adiabatic process. In adiabatic process, the amount of work done is equal to the change in energy of the system. Therefore now W equal to minus delta E when Q equal to 0. This is another form of first law of thermodynamics or energy balance. Then next we start the third example. Okay, now consider work and heat transfer simultaneously. Okay, so here I consider a piston. If I compress the piston or expand the piston, some work interaction are there, and the piston is placed on a heating surface. Therefore the piston is continuously heated. Due to the heating of the cylinder, the gas is expanded and the piston moves upward. Okay, here some amount of heat interaction is there, and also some amount of work interaction also there. Okay, let me consider the example. Consider an amount of gas in a piston cylinder device. The gas is heated inside the cylinder as a result of heat supply. As the energy of the gas increases, its pressure and temperature also increases. Then the gas will expand and work will be done at the boundary of the system. That means the piston moves upwards due to the increase of pressure and temperature inside the inside the cylinder. Then the conservation of energy principle reveals Q equal to W plus delta E. Here we supply heat, the internal energy of the object is increased and also piston moves upward. Therefore input heat is divided into two forms. One is work plus another one is internal energy. That means Q equal to the W plus delta E. In previous conditions, the first condition is there is no movement. In second condition, there is no heat transfer, which means the outside wall of the room is completely insulated. But this case, we have supplied some amount of heat. That heat first transferred from outside surrounding to inside cylinder, inside gas. Okay, then the gas internal energy is increased, which implies the pressure and temperature increment, and due to the pressure and temperature, the piston moves upwards. Okay, therefore the input heat, which is converted into work and internal energy. Therefore total heat is equal to W plus delta E. In another words, Q minus W equal to delta E. Okay, this is the first law of thermodynamics for a particular process. Okay, here Q is net heat transfer across the system boundaries. W, net work transfer in all forms. Delta E is net change in total energy or internal energy of the system, which is E2 minus E1. Okay, then now total energy means is a sum of internal energy and potential energy and kinetic energy. Already I discussed in previous video. Therefore delta E equal to delta U is intermolecular energy, which is nothing but internal energy. Its potential energy is nothing but system potential energy, and kinetic energy is the system kinetic energy. Okay, it is my macroscopic point of view, but delta U is a microscopic point of view. Okay, therefore total energy delta E equal to delta U delta P delta kinetic energy. If the system is stationary, consider if the system is stationary, the potential system is stationary, and also elevation is also elevation from the earth is also negligible. That means the system placed in a ground, therefore there is no elevation. That is there is no potential energy and there is no kinetic energy. Okay, the height is 0, therefore the potential energy is equal to 0. The system is in rest, therefore the kinetic energy also 0. Therefore the total energy is equal to only the internal energy of the object. Thus for the non-flow or stationary systems, Q minus W, which is equal to delta U instead of delta E, because in stationary system there is no potential energy and there is no kinetic energy. Okay, this is the three forms of first law of thermodynamics. Okay, for a single process, heating, cooling, expansion, or anything, any process for a single process, not a cycle. Okay, for a single process, the input heat which is equal to work done plus delta E. If no work is done, then input heat is completely converted to internal energy of the total energy of the system. If the process is adiabatic, the work is fully converted to internal energy. Okay, this is the some corollaries. Then the first law of thermodynamics for a cyclic process. Already I said what is cycle. The initial and final state points are identical, which process is called cycle. Okay, for example, if I heat the water from 25 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius, it is the first process. Then I cool the water from 100 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius, the second process. Connect the same point, which makes a cycle. The cycle having two processes, one is heating, another one is cooling. Okay, this is the cyclic process. Okay, then the first law of thermodynamics for a cyclic process. First, before that, I example one experiment which is called Joule's experiment. The Joule's experiment is the basic concept to formulate the first law of thermodynamics. Okay, I explained the Joule's experiment. In his experimental arrangement, he took a known quantity of water in a rigid insulated tank fitted with a paddle wheel. Water was stirred by a stirrer connected with the paddle wheel, which is the process A. In the process A, the amount of work done on the water by the stirrer was accurately measured as a product of weight and its displacement. The amount of work is completely converted to the heat due to the friction in between the stirrer and the water molecules. Then the temperature rise of water during the process. This is also recorded. Then this in process A, we supply some amount of work. That work is completely converted to heat. That rigid vessel is completely insulated. Then the temperature rises. This will be recorded through the thermometer. Okay, the reason for the heating is the friction between the water molecule and the blade of the stirrer. Okay, if we continuously stirred water by our hand, we sense the hotness because of the friction between our hand and water. Okay, this is the one process. Then come for the another process. Further, the insulation from the tank was removed and the whole system was placed in a water bath. The heat was transferred from the system in order to restore the system to the same initial state. This is process P, the cooling process. First process is cooling, heating process from particular temperature to particular temperature. Second process, that is process P, is a cooling process from that final temperature to initial temperature. But in first process, we supply some amount of work. In second process, we reject the heat with the help of water, which means cooling. Like here, there is no work interaction. Okay, but thus the process A and process B form a cycle. During process A, there was a work done on the system, but no heat transfer because the system is well insulated. During the process B, there was heat transfer, but no work done because we remove the stirrer and weight. We immerse the container without insulation in the water. Okay, therefore there is no work transfer. During a complete cycle, there was net work done and net heat input from the system. Okay, that which means the total work for the first process, which is equivalent for total heat rejected from this in the second process. Okay, therefore, Joules repeated the experiment for different system and for different amounts of work interaction and measured the corresponding amount of heat interaction. In each case, for restoring the system back to its initial state, Joule found his experimental observation that the heat is equivalent for work. Not same, but consider the example. First process is if we stir the water, which means we supply some work which is converted heat, that heat is stored in the container. Okay, then temperature goes rise. In second process, if remove the stirrer and all the things and the insulation also, we submerge the water, the heat is rejected from the inside water to outside water. Then it goes down, it downs the temperature from its to its original state. Okay, in first process work interaction, in second process cooling process, which means heat interaction. Okay, therefore the work is equivalent for heat. It's in a cyclic process. With the help of this concept, explain first law for the cyclic process, which is whenever a closed system undergoes a cycle, the work input to the system is proportional to the net heat output. Okay, so cyclic integral of W is directly proportional to cyclic integral of Q. Delta is a small quantity. Okay, our work is equivalent for Q. We eliminate the proportionality, we put our constant, which is J. Okay, the J is the constant of proportionality called mechanical equivalent of heat. Okay, whose value depends on the units selected for W and Q. In SI system, its value is unity. Therefore, the first law of thermodynamics is cyclic integral of W, which is equal to cyclic integral of Q. Okay, when a system undergoing a cyclic process comprised of more than one process, then summation of work, which is equal to summation of Q. Okay, summation of work, which is equal to summation of Q. Then summation of work minus summation of Q equal to 0. This is for cyclic processes. Okay, thus the first law of thermodynamics for a single process, which is Q equal to W plus delta E. Okay, then the first law for a cyclic process, for the mathematical formulation is the integration of R sigma W, which is equal to sigma Q. Therefore, total work for the cycle, which is equal to total heat interaction in the cycle. Okay, from that, for a cyclic process, the net heat transfer is always equal to the net work transfer. Which is the another definition of first law of thermodynamics. Okay, then finally we come to the last topic, which is perpetual motion machine of the first kind. A device that violates the first law of thermodynamics by producing work from nothing is called a perpetual motion machine of first kind. Consider the first example. It is a steam power plant. It is proposed to produce steam by a resistant heater placed inside the boiler instead of by combustion of fuel. Okay, in boiler the heat is produced. In boiler the heat is produced, or the water is converted to steam with the help of electricity from the generator output. Okay, the part of electricity generated by the plant is to be used for resistant heating and pump work. The rest of electricity is the net output of the plant. The inventor claims once the system is started, the power plant produces the electricity for an infinite time without requiring an energy input from the outside. Which means there is no, when we start the machine, there is no energy supply from outside. Continuously which is running. It is the claim of our inventor. Here the inventor tries to solve the world energy crisis. If it works, unfortunately, such a proposal is not possible in practice because the device only produces energy output as electrical work and heat rejection QR from the condenser without an energy input, which is a violation of the first law of thermodynamics. Therefore, such a device is called a perpetual motion machine of the first kind, which is impossible. Okay, which means there is no input, there is no output. Whenever we get output, we supply some amount of input. Okay, there is no machine operates without input. If a machine operate, that machine is called perpetual motion machine first kind. This violates the first law of thermodynamics. See, the video is clearly explained. Okay, this is the another example for perpetual motion machine. Here we have two wheels. One wheel operates the pump, another wheel operated by water from the upper elevation. Okay, the pump is operated by a smaller wheel. The pump pumps the water from the lower reservoir to higher reservoir, and higher reservoir. And then the higher wheel, which is called turbine. The turbine is rotated by the water from the top reservoir. Okay, once we start the process, first we supply the water to the turbine or bigger wheel. It rotates. Then once rotate the turbine, it rotates the smaller wheel, which operate the pump. The water pumps the water from the lower elevation to higher elevation. This is continuously, but the process is impossible because here there is no input. Certain time only it pumps, because the consumption of turbine is more amount of water and compared to pumping water. Okay, therefore that process is impossible, which is the another example of perpetual motion machine first kind. Okay, today's topic is over. Thank you.